This episode of Earn Your Happy is sponsored in part by Shopify, Constant Contact, Cozy Earth, Airbnb, and OpenPhone. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/happy. Constant Contact's award-winning marketing platform is here to make marketing way easier and way more effective. Try Constant Contact free for 30 days at constantcontact.com. Where would you live for a year if you hosted your home on Airbnb and went on an adventure? Find a co-host at airbnb.com/host. Sleep cooler, lounge lighter, stay cozy. Go to cozyearth.com and use code EARN for 40% off. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. OpenPhone is offering my listeners 20% off of your first 6 months at openphone.com/earn. If you think that you are going to grow your business, if you think that you are going to become the person you want, if you think you're going to have accountability, you have to be in a mastermind. And whether it is structured the way I said, or whether it's a group of friends who hold each other accountable, but you're really consistent with it, whether it's a group that meets once a month for dinner and you go around and you ask, where are the needs? How can we help? How can we do this together? It is the thing that has changed Chris and I's life.
And we're back
with another episode of He Said, She Said.
All right, babe, kick it off with a glossy tip.
I mean, it's not even necessarily a glossy tip. It is a glossy, just replenishing Chris, because we just did the 4th of July and we brought glossy with us. I was drinking glossy before we went on the boat. I've been drinking glossy the entire weekend.
Glossy was my end of night plan after day drinking all day.
Yeah.
Like lots and lots of glossy.
I've just been rehydrating with glossy because I need my minerals, I need my sea salt, I need to replenish, and I feel awesome.
Well, there you go, party delinquents. Glossy is your secret ingredient for surviving the next day like us.
Look, I feel hydrated and I feel great. So
and your skin looks even better.
Well, I'm a little sunburnt, I'm not gonna lie. I did use sunscreen. People are gonna write me and be like, did you use sunscreen? All I did was wear sunscreen, but we were out all day long.
You guys, I wish you could see, because right now she has a blob of white sunscreen on her shoulder. Right here, let me rub it in a little bit, because we're about to go to the beach.
Yeah, so I'll be under an umbrella this entire time sipping my glossy.
Drinking glossy. All right, guys. Well, listen, you get a very special 25% off coupon, and that is not going to last forever, rumor has it.
No.
Rumor has it Lori's going to take it away from you.
Well, here's the deal. We gave them 25% off for a year. So I want all of you guys who have been listening to make sure you get that one-time subscriber 25% off. So go and grab it now.
At getglossy.com. That's glossy, GLOCI, getglossy.com, and use coupon code
HAPPY.
HAPPY. Make sure you use coupon code HAPPY to get your 25% off. All right, so I thought this would be fun today. I wanted to ask you, what is your best piece of advice you've ever gotten from someone, and how have you used it in your life? And then you can ask me it back, or whatever direction you want, whatever order you want. Should we flip a coin to see who goes first?
I'll go first, just because one just hit me too, because I had one that I was going to come on with and share, which I'm going to, but I've got 2 quick ones.
Okay. All right. So best advice you've gotten and how have you used it?
Okay. So this first one is something that I learned from Brendan Burchard, and it's about enthusiasm and energy. And Brendan is somebody who I loved to hear speak all the time. And I just would look at him and be like, oh my gosh, he's like the Energizer bunny. And, you know, if you've ever been in a room with him, whether it's just you sitting in a seat and him on stage, you understand that one person's energy can absolutely change the entire energy of a room. And when I got to spend time with him in person, it was even more so. Like, you get to really see the difference that energy makes. And I had an experience with this long before even Brendan. And I remember this was Gary Vee. Like, this is with very, very influential people, all have one thing in common. And it is that their energy is almost hypnotic. And it's like, it truly feels like a vacuum when I met Gary Vee and got to be in his office and it was just me and one other person. When he entered the room, it's like a tidal wave came in of energy and just like you felt so uplifted. And I actually felt like I was levitating at one point. I'm not even kidding you. That's how one person's enthusiasm and energy for life can make you feel like you're levitating out of the chair because you're so excited about possibility because they breathe that life into you. When he left that room, it created a vacuum. Like, I remember that feeling of like, now this is a very important differentiator. I didn't say to myself, I need to learn how to just be around that more. Of course, that came into my head. how do I get around this energy more because of how it makes me feel? But the key is, you guys, how do I learn to generate that energy? How do I learn to generate it? So let's go back to Brendan. He gave me the biggest gift by saying that he is not a naturally energetic, enthusiastic person. And that blew my mind and opened the floodgates for me to learn that I could be that way too. Because I had this thing in my head that I was just from this family who, you know, while they're loving and amazing, that they struggle with anxiety, or they're maybe a little more shy, or, you know, maybe they're not always the most like enthusiastic or energetic in the room. And so for me, I was like, I want to shift this. I want to be the person that breathes life into people, that is the most enthusiastic in the room, that when I walk in, people feel that same way, that they're like, I've never felt like I have so much possibility just by being in this person's energy. And so what Brendan had told us when we got to spend time in a mastermind with him was that he said, you know, I use door jams. Yes, door jams, the things that you walk through, as kind of like this set point. Like, okay, when I'm about to go into this room, I'm going to use this as this physical reference point, that no matter what my day is, you know, what's going on in my day, or no matter how I feel, when I walk through that door, because there are people on the other side of it, that I'm going to change my energy. I'm going to choose the energy that I want to be in. And so I always think of that. I always think about, he touches the door jam. It's a physical, it's like a physical thing for him to reset. And he's like, okay, this is where I step into that different emotion. And every single day we get to choose, you guys. I even see it with my husband, Chris, that like, maybe I'll be feeling a little like tired or lethargic or something. And I'll see him and I'll know, you know, Chris is a pretty naturally happy person, and I want to match that. And not only do I want to match it, I actually want to bring that to him. And so for me, I'm consciously like, okay, respond back with as much enthusiasm or more in different ways for him, because I want to be a generator for him. I want to feel that way for him as well. I want to feel that way within my friends. It's a constant choice of, okay, bring the enthusiasm, bring the enthusiasm. Don't get me wrong. I can definitely dip down, but I absolutely do my best to try to remember. And it's a practice for the rest of your life. But I swear to you, enthusiasm is our favorite trait. We will always hire the most enthusiastic person. We always want to be around the most enthusiastic person. And the thing is, it takes a little time to learn it. Not enthusiastic. Enthusiasm. Love for life. Love for life.
Yep. Positivity, love for life, can-do attitude, vibrating high energy, but not just being hyper. Like, there's a difference between enthusiasm and being hyper. And I just want to add one more thing to what you said, because I remember when he taught us this, he said very specifically, Brendan, he said, you don't get energy. You generate energy. You are the power plant of energy inside of you. And so when you're sitting around saying, I'm tired, waiting to get energy, that's a losing battle. You choose, even when you don't feel like it, to generate energy, and there's as much there as you need.
Yeah, and that's how you feel it back. It's going to take a lift in the beginning, and then all of a sudden you create it, you change the room, and you get it back.
You know, it's funny, you don't know this. I did a solo episode last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was on what do really elite high performers have in common. And that was one of the three things.
Of course I know. I listen to every podcast you do.
Bullshit.
Just kidding. I don't.
Was their energy. They don't wait to get energy. They're the energy generators.
1,000,000%.
And I talked about the Gary thing too. Like when we went to dinner with him. Remember, he walks in, brings all the energy with him. Walks out, takes it all with him. It's crazy. It's nuts.
It's literally crazy.
Okay. That is really good advice, babe. I'm glad you shared that. Here's mine. Years ago, 2017-ish, Lewis Howes said to me, he said, when I wake up every day, I think to myself, who out of my friends and contacts needs something, and how can I fulfill that need, preferably through another person by connecting them? And he said, it's literally a muscle that he had built. He wakes up every day. He chooses to say, hey, who's this running total of people that I have in my head that needs something? This guy needs this gal needs this person needs this. And who do I know that can fulfill that? And he said, connecting those people on a regular basis and getting their needs met changed his life. And he said he learned that at a very early age, all the way back when he was teaching LinkedIn and would get everyone to go to those LinkedIn mixers that he would do, right? We're talking forever ago. And that stuck with me. And here's why. I was like, oh, wait, I've kind of always done that a little bit, but never as an intentional exercise, never as a muscle that I decided to build. Like, hey, you're born with triceps, but do you work on building your triceps, right? Like, I had that in me, but I never worked on building it until that day. And I don't know why it landed on me in the way that it did, but ever since that day, I have a running total in my head. It's like a virtual list of friends and acquaintances that I want to get to know, that I want to build relationship capital with, and what they need. Now, where do I get the what they need part? I take interest in people. I ask them, what are you working on right now? What are you excited right now? What challenges have you come up against? And it's very conversational, but I'm mining for data of what they need. Oh, do they need capital? Oh, do they need a connection to somebody who knows, how to do CPG products? Oh, do they need a TikTok influencer? Oh, do they need a marketing firm? Oh, do they need, right? And then I think, okay, who's got this solution? So if, Jonathan, just making up a name, if Jonathan needs a marketing company to launch his app, this is a terrible example because I know Jonathan that only launches apps. So Jonathan Maxim. All right, if Timmy needed someone to figure out how to launch his app that he's excited about, I know that Jonathan, my friend Jonathan Maxim, has a guarantee that he'll get your first 10,000 users on your app, and it's what they do best, better than anybody else. Yep. And so I'm always making an introduction. Oh, hey Timmy. You need to meet Jonathan, my buddy. He literally gets you your first 10,000 users, and it's a really cool experience. And so I have this running total when I wake up every day. Who can I help? Who can I connect? And if I can just help them myself, that's great. But if I can help somebody by connecting them to another person that fulfills a need, now I just help 2 people. And imagine the compounding factor of helping 2 people today and 2 people tomorrow and 2 people the next day and 2 people the next day after that. That's why I don't want for anything in our network. I am easily one introduction away, you and I together. Yep. We are one introduction away from anybody in the world we want to know. And we know people would make that introduction. That's the key. You can't just know someone who knows somebody. You have to have built up enough favor capital, friendship, whatever, to know that you can get that introduction if you ask for it. And we have built that up in large part by me waking up every single day saying, how can I connect these 2? And I do it with your friends too. I'm like, hey, Laura, your friend that does X, Y, and Z? I've got a client or I've got a friend that needs this. Can I connect them?
Yeah, you're so good with that.
And now we're bringing our worlds together. So I think those are 2 great pieces of advice, guys. If you just ran with these things.
I said one more, so I don't want to leave them
right.
hanging.
All right.
So
well, you're getting a bonus. Hey, you don't even have to pay for this one.
For the people who need to complete a circle.
Here's the free advice. You don't have to pay for this one.
So a lot of you may have seen that my husband, Chris, and I run masterminds. And with that, we get to help scale entrepreneurs' businesses, but we also get to see the inside of their businesses and what they struggle with the most, from software to onboarding employees and creating a company culture. That's typically one of the biggest things. And Bamboo HR is a powerful yet flexible all-in-one HR solution for growing your business. Stop spending countless hours on payroll, time tracking, benefits, performance management. With Bamboo HR, those hours are shaved down to minutes so you can go and do what you do best. Bamboo HR also has robust hiring and onboarding tools that will streamline the process, thus creating much better first days and first impressions for those new hires. Plus, Bamboo HR prides itself on being super easy to use, easy to learn, easy to implement, and very easy to love. Take a couple minutes to check out the free demo and see how nimble and affordable this valuable tool can be. HR is hard, but Bamboo HR is easy. I can't recommend Bamboo HR enough. Check it out for yourself with a free demo at bamboohr.com/free demo. That's bamboohr.com/free demo. bamboohr.com/free demo. When you have a business, there are so many challenging things that you don't need to add more challenge by getting confused with your clients texting you or calling you on your own phone number. Let me tell you, there's nothing worse than knowing that you missed a text or a voicemail from somebody important in your business. And that's why OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that streamlines and scales your customer communications. It works through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying 2 phones or using a landline. With OpenPhone, your team can share one number and collaborate on customer calls and texts like a shared inbox. That way, any teammate can pick up right where the last person left off, keeping response times faster than ever. Plus, say goodbye to voicemail because their AI agent can be set up in minutes to handle calls after hours. They can even answer questions and capture leads so you never miss a customer. So whether you're a 1-person operation, drowning in calls and texts, or have a large team that needs better collaboration tools, Open Phone is a no-brainer. OpenPhone is offering my listeners 20% off of your first 6 months at openphone.com/earn. That's OpenPhone.com/earn. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers. Okay, so you guys already who listen to this podcast, I guarantee you can guess it right now. And that is to create a network or a mastermind. And I went to a Jack Canfield training. It was called Train the Trainer. It was 3 weeks long, cut up into a week each, spread throughout the year. Super intensive from early in the morning and like homework until late at night. And one of the things that he could not say enough and that he actually made us do at the end of the 3 weeks was to get in a mastermind. He was like, if you took any of this seriously, you're going to create a mastermind for yourself. And they made them create it in the room. I just happened to want to create one outside of the room because I had some people in another industry, in the industry I was in, and there weren't people in that industry I was in necessarily, which was mostly fitness at the time, fitness, wellness. And so he made everybody create a mastermind where you met every other week for an hour. And so the mastermind had 3 to 4 people. And he was like, if you think that you are going to grow your business, if you think that you are going to become the person you want, if you think you're going to have accountability, he's like, you have to be in a mastermind. And whether it is structured the way I said, or whether it's a group of friends who hold each other accountable, but you're really consistent with it, whether it's a group that meets once a month for dinner and you go around and you ask, exactly what Chris said, like, where are the needs? How can we help? How can we do this together? It is the thing that has changed Chris and I's life. Truly. I mean, I can't think of something that has changed our life more than getting in rooms with people and truly connecting and finding out what everyone's needs are and helping each other.
Yeah. You went on to do that with 2 of your friends for how many years straight?
At least 6.
A self-ran 3-person mastermind.
Yep.
So
every other week for an hour.
The point is you don't have to go invest in one, even though, we love if you invest in ours or somebody else's. Yep. But you can just build these yourself.
Did that for free for 6 years.
Yep. And you just have to have accountability, consistency, and someone that's going to be the glue to keep it together. And I think that's where it falls apart. And
honestly, you guys, if you want the whole layout, I forget to talk about my book, but I published it in 2017. And it's literally about that mastermind. And it teaches you exactly how to do what I did. Like down to the script to invite people. And the book is called A Tribe Called Bliss. You can get it on Amazon. That is what changed my life. So it's all about kind of how that all started.
Yep. Speaking of masterminds, we're going to be doing an end of summer launch right after the kids go back to school. It's going to be all this very small allotment of spots in our new Mentor Collective Mastermind. Now you're starting to see a lot of the propaganda coming out of there. It's insane. Not our words, the members' words. After every call, it's the best thing I've ever invested in, the best investment I've ever made, blah, blah, blah. Like it is so incredible to hear that. But because of the way we run it, remember, we have what's called answers on demand. We hired coaches in every area of expertise to answer your questions within 48 hours of asking them, no matter how custom and individual your question is about your business. And so you get this unlimited one-on-one coaching, but because of that, we can't bring on too many people at once. So we're going to do a very small allotment of people at the end of summer. Now, if you're like, dude, it's July, why do I give a shit right now? Because there's a waiting list. And if you're not on the waiting list, you won't have a shot at getting one of the seats in the small allotment. So right now, at the end of this episode, go to chrisharder.me/mentor. That is chrisharder.me.me/mentor. Put yourself on a waiting list so you have a chance at the end of summer. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Go grab that advice, exercise it, and have a better business and a better life.
And we'll talk to you next week.